Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem. So continuing our discussion regarding the ma'mur bihi, we're discussing something called Hasan Lذاته or Hasan Nafsihi and Hasan Lغيره. الأمر بالشيء يدل على حسن المأمور به إذا كان الآمر. It's supposed to be آمر, not أمر. إذا كان الآمر. إذا كان الآمر حكيما. What are we saying? We are saying that when somebody commands you to do something, one of two things: either he's an idiot or he's intelligent. If he's an idiot, you ignore him anyways. And if the person who's telling you is an authority, is Hakim, he's wise, intelligent, he will only tell you to do something which is what? Good, beneficial, good. So therefore, all of the Sharia ahkam comes from whom? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly or via Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So therefore, every ma'mur of the Sharia is going to be what? Hasan. So everything the Sharia tells us to do is going to be Hasan. On the contrary, every nahi, every manhi anhu is going to be qabih and bad, intrinsically bad. Yes? Yes? However, ثُمَّ الْمَأْمُورُ بِهِ فِي حَقِّ الْحَسَنِ نَوْعًا. However, the ma'mur bihi is two types. The Hasan, being Hasan is two ways. What are the two ways? You have the ma'mur bihi, Hasan bi nafsihi, Hasan li dhatihi, whatever you want to call it, and Hasan li ghayrihi. Hasan bi nafsihi means that thing in itself intrinsically is good. Hasan li ghayrihi means it's good, but indirectly, because of something else. Okay? For example, Hasanun bi nafsihi, mithlu al-imanu billah. So we say iman billah is good in itself. Because why? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this kind of links together. He's our mun'im. He created us. Yes? He created us. He provides for us. He sustains us. So therefore, to believe in Him and to accept Him and submit to Him is good, directly. Similarly, the mun'im, the greatest mun'im is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And even other mun'im, anybody else who is good to you, kind to you, is good to be thankful to them. This is intrinsically good. وَالصِّدْقُ وَالْعَدْلُ. This comes on to morality and all that kind of stuff as well now. Like, is morality anchored in something or not? So we have what? Fixed morality. That our morality is fixed in the, we say it's binafsihi, but when we have these like modern discussions that what is good, what is they kind of try to decentralize or make it relative. When you don't have fixed morals or fixed good Hasan, then you can just change it as you wish, as your whims and fancies. You're following? So for example, like 200 years ago, 100 years ago, you said being a homosexual was a crime punishable by death. And now if you don't wear a t-shirt, where you're supporting the LGBT, he gets fined. And he's seen as a, so it changes what we're supposed to do. So the morality is not fixed in anything. It's just that you can just change it as you wish. Now, right now, or currently, or like 20 years ago, like pedophilia was seen as, or incest was seen as like absolutely out of the, disgusting. And I was speaking to somebody who was saying, well, now these are things that they're discussing in the academic fields. Like, is it really, etc. You won't be surprised if in 10 years or even closer than that, they say, well, incest, nothing wrong with incest. As long as we don't have children from it, there's no harm. Nobody's going to be harmed. They might come up with that because you're changing, because it's not fixed in anything. We say our morality and these things, these Hasan and Qabih, is fixed from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So therefore, so the values remain the same. The furu' can change. Like, okay, how do you buy and sell a cloth? The clothing that you wear, the type of clothing that you wear, the language you speak. But the same morals are always fixed in terms of respect to parents. Parents always due your respect. That's something that's fixed forever. That can't change with time. If that changes with time, that means that you don't know what you're doing. You just change. It's like you just change. It's basically following the hawa of everybody. That's what it is, isn't it? Basically, if you change your morality, it's basically wherever the hawa of majority of people is, that becomes good, and that becomes your God. Yes, because if everybody agrees that like for example, everybody's agreed that zina is fine in Europe, America. There's nothing wrong with zina. So now that has become that's accepted. That why are you saying it's wrong? There's no big issue with this. So now your ittiba al-hawa of everybody. So the Quran has lamented ittiba al-hawa of individuals and also lamented ittiba al-hawa collectively. So anyways, this is a bit of a side transmission. So sidq, being honest, being fair, being just, all of these are Hasan. Salah is good in itself. Allah has placed goodness in Salah. But again, some of these Hasan are masmu', some are ma'qul. Like for example, if you say here, these are what? These are ma'qul. Without a sharia, these are aqlan, ma'qul, aqlan. Yes. So aqlan, what are these things? The Hasan. And Salah is Hasan because why? Shar'an. It's Hasan لذاته, it's Hasan in itself. بنفسه. There's no, like you perform Salah, in that Salah is the goodness. But how do you know it's good? The Shaykh told us to do this. Are you following? We can have deduced that Salah is good without the Sharia telling us this. Are you following? وَنَحْوِهَا مِنَ الْإِبَادَاتِ الْخَالِصَةِ, or the other ibadat. So the goodness is in the ibadah itself. Yes? Like tilawah. So for example, see the tilawah, Quran has two aspects. It's Hasan لذاته, it's Hasan لغيره, both. The tilawah, so what is Hasan لذاته? The Quran's tilawah itself is a Hasan. And لغيره, the ma'ani. And the mafhum and the amal you do upon it. So both. So some people who think, oh, what's the point of reading the Quran? Mainly to understand the Quran. So well, you look at the لغيره part. Quran has both aspects. لذاته is Hasan, the tilawah itself is Hasan. And the fahm of the tilawah, matlu, is also Hasan. So it's Hasan لغيره and لذاته. You following? So the ibadat al-khalisa, Hajj is Hasan lidatihi. You following? You can say zakat has two aspects. Hasan lidati and lighairihi. Hasan lidati because Allah's command, and lighairihi because you fulfill the need of the faqir. Okay, but we're not going to deep in this book, inshallah. It comes in Manar later on. Hukmuhu. إذا وجب أداؤه. When it becomes compulsory to do what? It becomes compulsory to fulfill this. لا يسقط إلا بالأداء. It can only become saqit by doing ada of it. Oh, yes. So for example, this is maqsood fi dhan, is objective and the purpose. So therefore, when it becomes compulsory to do this ibadah, like for example, salah, when zuhr time comes, the only way you can fulfill responsibility is by doing what? Performing that. Or Allah says, don't perform it anymore. It comes isqat. وهذا فيما لا يحتمل السقوط كالإيمان بالله. So, Iman billah is Hasan لذاته. Is wajib. How do you fulfill Iman billah? By doing Iman billah. There's nothing else. That's it. وأما ما يحتمل السقوط. Those things which can become saqit. فهو يسقط بالأداء أو بإسقاط الآمر. These things يسقط أي يسقط عن الذمة. يسقط means it falls off or you absolve of responsibility. You absolve of responsibility when? Well, either by doing it or by the Amir telling you that don't worry, don't do it anymore. So, yes, if you go over here now, look. You have a ma'amur bihi, Hasan min nafsihi, la yahtamil suqut. It can never ever drop, like Iman billah. So, how do you do this? You have to do ada of this. And it was yahtamil suqut is something that is droppable. Then what happens? Like, for example, salah. Salah drops from whom? A ha'idha. A ha'idh. So then what happens now? It becomes saqit either by performing salah or by the Amir saying don't perform salah, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So by doing ada of it, or by doing what? By the Amir doing isqat of it. In these situations, what happens? It can become saqit. Understand? And Hasan li ghayrihi, we discuss that later. You got it? You following? Hasan li ghayrihi مثل السعي إلى الجمعة. What does سعي الجمعة mean? يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله. Those of you who believe, when you hear the call for Jum'ah, then hasten to Jum'ah. Now, hasten to Jum'ah, I sa'i ila Jum'ah, go to Jum'ah. Now, going to Jum'ah, what is it? Is going to the masjid in itself, is it good or is good, but why? Because of the salah afterwards. If you go to Jum'ah, I said, I've done sa'i, I'm tired to go back home now. I've done one half of the command. So you've done nothing. Because the Hasan in that sa'i was only because of Jum'ah. Are you following? Well, wudu is salah. So wudu is only has value because of what? The ibadah you do after it. Are you following? The ibadah maqsood you do after it. For example, what do? You do wudu, or you do wudu, then you do tilawah, perform salah. Yes, you perform tawaf. So if you do an ibadah maqsooda after the wudu, if you do what? An ibadah maqsooda after the wudu, what happens then? Then this is Hasan. But the Hasan and the wudu itself, therefore, you might have done a nur al-idah. If you perform wudu upon wudu, what is this? Israf. If you do one wudu, and without doing an ibadah for another wudu, this is israf. Why? Because the wudu's Hasan and goodness is only for what? It being a sabab of the ibadah khalisa. And if you do not have the ibadah khalisa being achieved, then what's the point of doing this? You're wasting your time. You understand? Yes? Ji. حكمه يسقط المأمور به. يسقط المأمور به بسقوط ذلك الغير. If the غير becomes ساقط, the husn becomes ساقط. If the غير becomes ساقط, the husn becomes ساقط. The ma'mur becomes ساقط. Okay? So for example, what's the example of this? A person lives in a village. What's the person where does he live? In the village. Is there Jummah in the village? A very small village? There's no Jummah. One of the sharait of Jummah. There's a very small village, there's no Jummah. Now is sa'i upon him? There's no Jummah, and the Jummah is the ghaib. So the sa'i ila Jummah is Hasan lil Jumma'ati. The Jummah is saqit, therefore the sa'i is also saqit. You following? You following? وفائدة وقريب من هذا النوع الحدود والقصاص والجهاد. Very close to this is what? These following things. Hudud, penalties, Islamic punishments and penalties. Qisas, capital punishment, and jihad, war. People feel scared with the word jihad. People have hijacked the word jihad. So jihad is a legal war. Well, I don't know how many legal words I have right now. All the words that have probably all legal. But they don't feel embarrassed to have their, have their wars. They think, well, we're promoting democracy. So just change the words and add it around. It's the same thing. Yes? So if you promote good values, legitimately, under proper rule, without violating any of our laws, that's jihad is basically a war. When you have legitimate rules, the same way United Nations have rules that when they can go to war, etc. Islam has also codified it. That's called jihad. Jihad doesn't mean doing suicide bombings and killing people. Yes? So when is a war? So a war. Is a war a good thing or a bad thing? Well, now it's a good thing because people make money from that. Preparing ammunition and there's all whole industry. But in theory, in an idealistic world, war is what? Is Hasan, but not in itself. Why is it? لذاته لغيره. Why? If there's people are being genocide taking place. So now genocide taking place another place, people are being killed. So therefore, another country will say, well, to protect these people, what do we need to do? Have a war and stop the oppressors. People are doing what? People being oppressed. What happens now? So this war is Hasan li ghairihi. In itself, having a war, what's the point of killing people? What's the point of having a war, blowing up, destroying buildings? The husna, the goodness only comes about if that is going to stop oppression, stop killing, stop murder, stop genocide. Similarly, prisons, you have penalties, we have all. Why are these there? Why is the prison? Is prison a good thing? It's not a good thing. But the husna is what? It comes about because of, it's supposed to reform people. If a person has not committed a crime, then what's the point of having it? So it's there for the crime. Similarly, the Islamic punishments, hudud and qisas and jihad, all of these things are like this. They're not maqsood themselves. They are not good in themselves, but they bring about benefits secondarily. So because of the external factors, what happens then? They become what? Hasan. You understand? Are you following? But again, this is when it's Islamic government, legitimate Islamic government. Yes. Okay. فإن الحد حسن لكونه زاجرا للجناية. The had, the hudud, the penalties. These are all hasan. Why? Not in themselves, because somebody is going to go under penalty, going to pain, is capital punishment. In America, many states have capital punishment, but they don't mention that in the news. They only mention the other ones. So many states have capital punishment. They don't say that's against human rights, or they keep those quiet. So Islam, they have this. If the criteria is met, there's a high threshold, very very high threshold. Yes, and if that threshold is met, then legitimately within following the law and the system and the government rulings, the capital punishment is there in Islamic government. Is this a good thing? One person is dying, one person being punished. But the benefit of that is لِكَوْنِهِ زَاجِرًا عَنِ الْجِنَايَةِ. That this becomes what? One, number two is that person is punished, and other people are then stopped from committing that thing. So the husn is not in itself. That's not good in itself. What's the goodness? Is something else. And people don't understand this. They have to defund the police, stop prisons, close prisons. Like, it doesn't work like that. Yes, we know that having a lot of police people or not having prisons is a good thing, but only when there's no crime. If there's crime and there's no prison, you can have facade. Actually, if you look in some places in America, they try to be like to try to raise anything under £1,000. There's no, they want to have a penalty on this. So people just go in shops and just take TVs and kind of stuff and go. It's just you have it if you watch on the news, some those things. It's not on the, don't put it on the news that other than they have it. Some places they have that. You have some places they'll make drugs legal, and because of that now it's just like facade and corruption. So it's up to you. You can have no laws and no rules, but having a police, having a law, having a rule, whether it's Islamic law, even a proper the common law, that every person who crime must be a thing. So it's becoming woke, and that's what the problem is. It's like actually videos of this walking out because the police will, and you get there, you get arrested and you get released again. So people like, so some of these big supermarkets are just closing down these states because it's not worth it. Too much thing. Okay. G. Zajiran prohibits. It prohibits. It's a deterrent. It's a deterrent. It's a deterrent. Similarly, jihad, war, a legitimate war. Illegal war is bad in all ways. But legitimate war with proper reasons, proper procedures being followed, hasanun lidaf'i sharril kafara, is good. Is what is good because of removing the evil of those who do not allow people to practice their religion. And ila kalimatullah, promote democracy. If you translate it as that, then we have a problem. Yes. So the way where people are allowed to practice religion freely in itself is not good, because why? There's going to be loss of land, loss of property, loss of goods. People are going to have difficulty. But on the long term, this is how war is. Basic, simple. United Nations have allowed war, but in a particular framework, but not لذاته, but لغيره. Okay. سبحان الله وبحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك ونشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.